Hello everyone, I'm Jim Sun Lee for SpeedEndurance.com and welcome to Speed Endurance TV. In today's video I want to talk a bit about EMS, their pads, and pad placements. Now EMS stands for many things. It stands for electric muscle stimulation or electronic or electrical. All those terms are the same. So in this video I'll simply use the term EMS. Now the first thing in choosing an EMS, which I believe is important, is you need a 4-channel unit. Now this video pertains to any brand, any vendor, but I'll be referencing the Globus model. And the reason why, if you're going to buy an EMS unit, buy a 4-channel unit right away. Some people buy a 2-channel unit and use splitters to make 4 channels to save money. But you really shouldn't do that because no body is symmetrical. You'll have one leg stronger than the other, one leg has more fat than the other, different size, different innervation. So just spend the extra money and get a 4-channel unit. That's it. The second most important thing about EMS is the pads. And the best way to start is to always have clean skin. Make sure you use like baby wipes or baby swipes, whatever they're called, and clean the skin. And the reason why, there are 2 reasons. One is because they make your pads last longer. You can get between 10 to 30 uses per pad when you have clean skin. And the other reason is pretty obvious. You want the conduction to be better, cleaner. So the more oil, the more grease, the more sweat, that will impair the conduction. So to get a consistent training session with EMS, it's best to have clean skin. So those are the basics in EMS functionality. Now, I get a lot of emails about the pads and the size of pads because they buy a unit and they come with 3 different sizes. So I'll just quickly go over the pad sizes and the reasoning behind the different sizes. The first one I call the, 50 by 50 millimeter or 2 by 2 inches. These are the single input or 1 input pads, and these are used when you have the most concentration of nerves. And in EMS terms, I like to call this the active pad because that's the motor point, the point of the nerves that come to the belly of the muscle. And this would go on the big belly when you say contract your quads, that big lump. That's where the active pad, the smaller pad would go to. And in a few minutes I'm going to strip down and do a live demo using this, and you can actually see how I'm doing this. The second type of pads are the larger pads, and these I call the inactive pad because they're on the proximal end of the muscle. It's the one that's closest to the innervation, closest to the spinal cord. So I would place this on my quad, closest to me, away from the kneecap. And as we know, you shouldn't be putting these on your tendons because there are no nerves in your tendons, right? The nerves on the muscles are on the muscles. So you want to put this, say, on the upper thighs, and I'll explain and demonstrate how it all works. The third type of pad, which is, I guess they call it the double input pad. And these work too. I guess you can save a lot of time because you just peel it off, slap it on once, as opposed to peeling off and slapping on twice with 2 different legs. The thing is, it's not as accurate unless you have maybe a really small leg, and these might work. But in most cases, most athletes, if not all athletes that I know, really don't use this. This is more for the cosmetic uses. Most athletes use the 2 larger pads in this example here. So, and then when you recycle the pads, like I said, 10 to 30 uses, it's pretty straightforward because on one side of the plastic it says on, and on the other side it says no, right? O-N, N-O. So when you're placing the pads back after use, just put them on the on side. And everybody should have their own pads. I think they're pretty cheap that you can have one set for different people. for your own athletes, and then another athlete has their own set of pads. You can all share the same machine, but just keep the pads for yourself. So that being said, I think the positioning of the pads is important, and like I said, I'll do a full demo. But people ask me, do you have your leg straight? Do you have your leg bent or fully closed? And I think you want it sort of halfway between full extension and full contraction. So if you're doing the quads, my knees are usually bent 90 degrees. And again, that'll be more clear when I actually do the demo. So I think that's it for now. I think I talked a bit about the units, the pads and pad placements. I think it's best to actually show you in real. So let me get changed into a pair of shorts, and we'll do a full EMS session. So for SpeedEndurance.com, I'm Jimson Lee.